And so in this video, we'll be looking at VMware Fusion 3.0 for Mac. I'm going to go ahead and search for VMware Fusion, and it should go ahead and pop up. You may see this registration form here. You can register later. So again, I have a Windows Vista virtual machine, an old one that I created a while back, and it's been upgraded. As you can see, the interface of a shutdown virtual machine looks different. It starts up, and we're just gonna start normally from this virtual machine. Now, what I like about VMware Fusion 3.0 for Mac is that it's been built from the ground up to work really well with Snow Leopard 64-bit kernel, which can do some real good for your virtual machine performance and stability when using your virtual machines using Snow Leopard. And of course, VMware Fusion 3.0 has been optimized to run really nicely with Windows 7 if you're planning on upgrading or installing Windows 7 in a virtual machine. Now, as I said in my last video, in the last chapter dealing with parallels, VMware, in my opinion, is a little slower and a little more sluggish than Parallels. But once it gets going, you can start using it. Now, I would recommend that you use a Mac with 4 gigs of memory. I am using 4 gigs of memory, and in the near future I plan to go get a new MacBook with 8 gigs. I think it'll really do some good with the performance of all of my virtual machines. But if you don't plan to do much with your virtual machines, then it probably wouldn't matter to you if all you're going to be doing is using Office or any of your other less intensive Windows-based programs. Just go ahead and stick with what you got. But I use both Windows and Mac pretty evenly, but prefer to run my Windows on my Mac platform because it's just that good. So we're logging in. This is the first time we've logged into this account. So it's taking some time. I upgraded to VMware Fusion 3.0 first before I tried Parallels 5.0 for Mac. A nice little program I want to show you that I have not is the Activity Monitor, and this is a really handy utility, and I use it very frequently to see how much my virtual machine platforms like Parallels and VMware, I try to see how much they take up of my memory. And you can also test this out. Depending on how much memory you give your virtual machine, it will immediately start taking that from your system. This free amount of memory your computer can use wired memory represents red, and it takes all of the memory that your Mac operating system is taking up. Active what's being used actively and inactive memory. And like I was saying, where it's slow. It's a little bit sluggish. And for some reason, when it's in a single window view, tends to look a little blurry. I'm not quite sure why that is, but that can be fixed by going into full screen mode and back into single window. Now if you didn't notice, I just paused the video because it was taking quite a long time to load up, and that's a little disappointing as well, because I've configured my virtual machine to have a good amount of memory, run on 2 cores, and really perform great as a virtual machine. So that is a little disappointing. But beyond that, let's go ahead and take a look at the features. If you want to turn on the Windows aerial, you will need to go ahead and go to the control panel as usual and change the appearance. It opens the welcome screen, or the welcome center, which I don't need to see right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and change the appearance, showing you how to activate the Windows area if you haven't known already. Get this going here, and we see the Windows area. Now, MacBook Pro is a relatively fairly high performance system, and by comparing Parallels Desktop 5.0 and VMware 3.0, I was a little disappointed in the sluggishness of VMware, but once it got going, it ran pretty fine. What I like is when you go into Unity, which is similar to Coherence and Parallels, it has this nice little menu here. If you click the VMware icon in the task, in the icon up here in this menu option, you can access all of the programs on your system, which is really nice. So if I wanted to open a Microsoft Works word processor, I could do that. Open up the computer. Yes, folks. Parallels VMware 3.0, I believe, is a good upgrade if you want the additional features. But in my opinion, I do feel like the program compared to Parallels 5.0 has been a little rushed out and a little incomplete, and I've never felt that way in a virtualization platform before, and a little disappointed. It's the first time I've ever felt that I kind of wasted my money. However, maybe that's just my system. You go ahead and test VMware 3.0 for yourself. I had to get 3.0 so that I can compare and tell you about the newest features. And the support for Windows Aerial, that and this nice little integration here with the Mac OS X desktop is nice. And we see here a live shot of what is shown in on the desktop. If we go in back into full screen mode, we can see You also notice that in full screen mode you'll see a nice viewing option here, which allows you to access your system.